Hey everyone, Mr. Lambert here with the bell ringer for Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. Just like normal, we'll go through, I'll read the problems with you. I'll give you a chance to try each problem, then we'll check the answers together. So for the first one today, we have a straightforward division problem. So I've got 8,378 divided by 11. No decimals or anything strange to deal with on this one. You're just going to do straight long division. Remember what you know about your multiples of 11 should make this pretty easy for you. Go ahead and try it out. Choose your answer from the answers on the side, and then we'll check it together. All right, here we go. This one should be pretty easy for us. So I've got 11 into 83. Now, I know I can't go 8 times because 8 times 11 would be 88. Remember, if any one-digit number we put down multiplied by 11 will be that number twice. So 88 is going to be too big. I can only do 7 times. So 7 times 11 would be 77. Now I'll have to worry about it subtracting out here. Can't take 7 away from 3, so I'll steal from there. Make that a 13. 13 minus 7 is 6. And this now 7 minus 7 is 0. So I just have to worry about the 6. And 6 is indeed less than 11. So we're good to go with our first digit. We'll now drop our next digit down, which would be what do you know, another 7. So I've got 11 into 67. Now this one, I know I can go 7 times because that would be 77. And if I go 6 times, well, 6 times 11 is 66. And that's pretty close to 67, so we'll do that one. And 7 minus 6 is 1. 6 minus 6 is nothing. So perfect. 1 is definitely less than 11, and we can move on to our last digit. All right, now I've got 11 into what I'm going to drop my 8 down. I've got 18 down here. And again, 11 I can take away from 18 pretty easily. Let's try the next one up. If I do a 2 here, this would be 22. Can't take 22 from 18, it's too large. So I can only do 1 time. And 18 minus, well, 11 times 1 is 11. Let's check it out. 8 minus 1 is 7. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So I've got a remainder of 7, and we're done. Pretty straightforward, easy on that one. So 761 with a remainder of 7. If you have any questions on that one, please make sure to let me know. We can run through some that are like it during office hours to help you out feel a little more comfortable with numbers like this. All right, let's move on to number 2. All right, we have 2/6 divided by 2/6. It's a division of fraction problem. So remember what our rule is here. Go ahead and choose your answer from the question or from the options on the side, and we'll check it in just a moment. All right, 2/6 divided by 2/6. So we're going to take our first number. We're going to keep it the same. I hope you remember, we're going to change the division to multiplication, and then we're going to flip the second number upside down. Keep change and flip. And 2 times 6 is 12. Hey, 2 times 6 is 12. And anything over itself is equal to 1. So our answer here would be 1 12/12. Would also work on iLearn, but if they ask you to simplify or you can't find 12/12, well, that would be equal to 1. And if we think about this, we're asking, if I have 2/6 of something, how many groups of 2/6 can I make? Well, that's pretty easy. That would be 1. All right, so anything divided by itself is going to be 1. That one's pretty easy. We didn't really have to work it through. But if you did, that's how the math would have gone to figure that guy out. All right, let's move on to question number 3. So this is going to get a little more complicated because we've got decimals. So I've got 32 and 32 hundredths times 2 and 1/10. So go ahead, I would rewrite this vertically. Go ahead and do that, and then try it out on your own, and we'll check it together here in just a moment. All right, guys and gals, I've got 32 and 32 hundredths times 2 and 1/10. I'm going to pull my multiplication symbol over here, and 2.1. Now remember, we're not going to deal with our decimal points until the end. We're just going to treat this like regular standard algorithm multiplication of multiple digits. So first thing we're going to do is deal with our 1 space. 1 times 2 will give us 2. 1 times 3, 3. 1 times 2, 2. 1 times 3, 3. Pretty easy. I got 33,232. Done with that guy. We'll mark our 1 out and move on to our 2 here. Now this is not a regular 2, remember? It is part of 21 if we're thinking of this as whole numbers. So to deal with a whole number that's in the tens digit, like a 1, we just add a 0 after our answer. And we can move on with our lives. All right, so now 2 times 2 would give us 4. So now instead of writing the same thing, we're just going to double everything. 2 times 3 is 6. Again, 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 64,640. We'll add these numbers up together. So 2 plus nothing, 2. 3 plus 4 is 7. 2 plus 6 is 8. 3 plus 4 is again 7. And 6 plus nothing over here would just be 6. So 67,872, which seems way too big for 32 basically times 2, which should give me something around 64. So in theory, if 64 would be a reasonable answer, my decimal should go somewhere around right there. And actually that's where it's going to live, because I have 1, 2, 3 digits behind a decimal point in my question. So I'm going to move my decimal point from all the way over on the right hand side here. 1, 2, 3 spaces right in between my 7 and my 8. And that is indeed where it should live to make a reasonable answer. So our answer is 67 and 872 thousandths. I know this has been a little bit of a difficult skill for some of us. If you still have questions, hit me up during office hours. We can practice a few of these together until you're feeling a little more comfortable. All right, moving on. Not to be done with decimals yet. Let's try some division. So I've got 43 and 44 thousandths divided by 1 7/10. So go ahead, try this one out. Check your answer from the one on the side that you think is correct, and we will check it here in just a second together. All right, guys and gals, let's rewrite this together. So I'm going to take my 1 7/10. That is my divisor. I'm going to put him outside the house. And inside the house, or my vinculum as it's called, 43 and 44 thousandths. So 0, 4, and 4. Now, our rule with long division, I cannot do long division with a decimal outside the house or in my divisor. If I have a decimal as part of my divisor, I need to make my divisor a whole number. We can do that by using powers of 10. But remember, if I do it with one number, I have to do it with both. So I'm going to move my decimal point 1 digit this way and do the same thing over here. So my decimal point now is going to move in between my 0 and my first 4. Again, basically I just multiplied both numbers, if we're thinking of it that way, by 10. And that should give us easier numbers to work with here. So now I have 17, and so I'm going to do 430 and 44 hundredths divided by 17. It's going to make a little more sense. So 17 into 43 now is what we need to think. Now I know 2 times something close to 20 should be right around 40. So let's go ahead and try that. 2 times 7 is 4. Carry my 1 up. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 gives me 3. And can't do that. I got 3 minus 3, which gives me 0 in this digit, and this becomes 13. So 13 minus 4 is 9. Pretty good. That's a good start to my problem. 9 is less than 17. I'm going to drop the 0 down now. So for my second set of digits, I have 90. So 17 into 90, well, I know that 20 times 5 would give me 100. And since this is a little bit less, I'm going to try 5 and see just how that works. So 5 times 7 is 35. Carry our 3 up. Hey, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 more gives me 8. It's going to be a little less than 90, so that's good. We're going to have to steal from there. That gives me 2 8s, which is good. So 10 minus 5 is 5. Of course, 8 minus 8 is nothing, so I am good. 5 is less than 17. I'm going to get rid of this so it doesn't confuse us next time. And we'll pull our next digit down, which is a 4. Now 17, because we've already moved our decimal, we can actually now move it straight up into our answer, so it's going to go in before this next digit. So we'll be right here by the 25. 17 into 54. Well, again, I know 17 times, if this were 20, I could go 3 times, and that would give me something close to 60. 54 is relatively close to 60, a little bit under, but this is a little bit less than 20. So let's give this a try. 7 times 3 is 21. Carry our 2. And 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 more gives me 5. Hey, good job. I'm going to have a 3 left over and dropping a 4 down. I'm going to move this over here just so you can see, because we're getting a little close to my picture over on the side. All right, so now I need to think about how many times 17 can go into 34. And actually, well, if this were 15, it could go into 32 times, so let's try that. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry our 1 up. And then, hey, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 more makes 3. Perfect. Got a remainder of 0. So that's where our number would terminate. We'd have 25 and 32 hundredths. All right, guys, if you got any questions on that, let me know. It's just pretty straightforward long division. You just got to deal with that decimal point in your divisor. Just move it over and then move your decimal point in your dividend the same number of spaces before you start dividing. Once you're done with that, though, the decimal goes straight up into your answer, and you don't have to do anything else with it. You'll just do regular long division. Last one here today, guys and gals. All right. Another story problem. So we'll use the cube method here. It says Miss Smith had 28 6th graders and 35 7th graders. If she wants to break the 2 grades into identically sized groups without any students left over, how many students should be in a group? So I've got 28 6th graders, 35 7th graders. I want to break the 2 grades into identically sized groups without any students left over. How many students should be in each group? Go ahead and use your cube method in your head. Choose your answer from the side, and we'll check it here in just a moment. All right, guys and gals, this one was a little bit tricky, but nothing that you can't figure out. So actually here we've got 2 numbers. Miss Smith has 28 6th graders and 35 7th graders. She wants to break the groups into breaks the grades, into 2 identically sized groups without any students left over. How many students should be in each group? This is a really long question. So she wants to break the 2 grades into identically sized groups without any groups left over. So here's what I see. I see identically sized groups. So I've got 2 grades, and I want to make them into identically sized groups. Actually, this is a little different. Not going to be multiplication, not going to be division, not going to be addition, not going to be subtraction. I'm actually looking for a common factor of both. And probably I want my least common factor. So ladies and gentlemen, I need to find my factors of 28, and I need to find my factors of 35. I'll do them in a different color. If I can find factors that work for both, then I should be able to find the size of group that I need to figure these out. So I'm going to start with my factors of 28 first. I know I can do 1 times 28. If you want to, you can rainbow those guys across. That's cool. I can also do 2 times 14. 28 is also a factor of not 3, because 3 times 9 gives me 27, but 4 times 7 gives me 28. And that's actually where I stop there. So I have 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28. All right, let's try my factors of 35. I know I've got 1 times 35. I know I've got, I can't do 2 because this is an odd number. 3 doesn't work because 3 times 11 would be 33, and 3 times 12 would be 36. 4 doesn't work because, again, it's an odd number. 5 does work, though. 5 times 7 will give me 35. And 6 doesn't work because 6 times 6 is 36. So these would be my only factors of 35. 1, 5, 7, and 35. So I need to look for these and find the ones. Actually, I'm going to go with my GFC here. Sorry, not my least common factor. I want the greatest one because this would give me my biggest size group that I can have, but have them be even. And as I do this here, I'm just going to look for numbers that are the same in each one. So 28 is not a common factor. Okay, not down there. Is 14 a common factor? Nope. 7 is indeed a common factor. I've got 7 here. I've got 7 here. So I should have 7 students in each group because that is my greatest common factor. So my biggest group of kids I could have together would be 7. The only other number that would work would be 1. And groups of 1 in each group might be a little annoying. So she wants to have the same size of group in both grade levels. The number of students she should put in each group would be 7. She would have 7 times 4 is 28, so she would have 4 groups in her 6th grade class and 5 groups because 7 times 5 is 35 in her 7th grade class. All right, guys and gals, that is it for you today. Your last one. Good luck as you're moving on. You're on into some more IXL today. So keep working diligently on those. Make sure you're contacting us during office hours if you have any questions over what you're working on. Don't get too behind on that SMART score, and keep practicing hard because we've got 8-step on Friday this week. All right, good luck, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.